Welcome. Welcome to Living in 3D with Janice B. And I'm Janice. Thank you for joining me on this Saturday evening. I'm so glad the rain has ceased enough for me to come out here and sit on the deck and uh, have some time in nature to share with you some of my experiences. So I'm glad to be able to do that. For those of you who are tuning in for the very first time, Living in 3D with Janice B is what I call learning to live by utilizing your dreams, uh, divining on them to receive additional analysis on what those dreams mean, and then doing spiritual work that may be needed to help the manifestations of any gifts from spirit or the ancestors. Dreams, as you know, as I've said, are one way that the spirits and the ancestors may choose to communicate with us. So it's very important to, um, if you can remember to record as many details of your dreams, so that you can get additional insight. So last week I did share a dream with you, and I also shared uh, the insight that I got from doing a divination on that dream. This week, I want to do the same thing with another dream. However, I don't have access to my divination kit right now. But one thing that I'm learning as a student of IIKDS with Chief Amachi is, it's like life in itself is like a divination mat. Like Earth, you can look at Earth as a divination mat and look at your observations, observe your experiences, look at the things around you to get additional insight. And that's actually one of the first things that that you should do after you record your dream, after you record the details, is to pay attention to what observations are going on around you, and then go back and put those additional details in your journal, and then you end up, as Chief Amachi says, creating your own lore. So the first thing that you're not doing when you have a dream is running out to get a dream book to see what someone else's experiences says. So for those of you who aren't familiar, Chief Amachi is the founder of IIKDS, of which I am an apprentice. IIKDS is the International Indigenous Knowledge and Development Society. You can go to the website iikds.org and find out all about the wonderful classes that are being taught there. I'm probably on, I don't know, this is my fourth class now. The class, like I said, I'm currently taking is a divination level 2 class. So let me just, let me go over those things that, I'm going to share the dream, and then I'm going to give you my analysis of that dream like I said, I don't have access to my kit right now, but from what I'm learning, I'm divining with the mind. I'm using my observations and some other things that I can't really get into. Some of those details, some of those things are secret, but if you become a student, you'll know exactly what I mean. But so in this dream, I was learning how to swim. By the way, I don't know how to swim, but I took lessons, so I was learning how to swim, and the only thing that I was doing in this dream was the breathing part. I think they call it bobbing or blowing bubbles. It's the first thing that they kind of teach adults like myself who are scared of water, how to breathe. So I was doing, like, the motions that I was making was moving upwards, north, downwards, south. I was standing in a pool of water. I was holding on to the ledge, and I was literally standing up straight out of the water, doing an inhale. I believe the inhale's through the mouth. Please forgive me if I got this wrong. It's probably one of the reasons why I don't know how to swim yet. But I think you inhale through the mouth. And then when you go down underwater, you do the exhale through the nose so that you're blowing bubbles. And that was the way to teach you how to breathe, so that you're not, I think, trying to inhale through the mouth underwater, because you get the water in your lungs, it can drown. So that's all that was going on in the dream. It was that motion over and over and over. And as I was standing up, I was doing, like, looking up, like, towards the sky, but not straight up, like towards the, like, I'll say the right corner. So it's like up, looking up like towards the right, like in the corner, at some spectators who were there, I guess, watching my experience, right? So first thing that I did, when I had this dream is I said, okay, I'm dreaming about this thing. I'm not about to take swimming lessons. What is spirit trying to tell me? So, okay, what does water mean, Janice? Not what does it mean to dream book, 101 or whatever dream books they have out now, but what does water mean to me? So I closed my eyes. I said, okay, you know what? When I think of water, I think of peace. I think of tranquility. I think of relaxation. That feels spiritual to me. So that water to Janice represents Janice's spiritual experience. At least that's the initial analysis that I came up with. That's about my spiritual experience. Notice I said water. I didn't say what type of water. So we have many bodies of water. You have rivers, streams, lakes, oceans, ponds. But this was a pool. And it was a controlled, so when I think of a pool, I think of a controlled environment, one with structure. There was, it's man-made. So, you can control how hot the water is to some degree, how cold it is, how high it is. So I said, okay, Janice, this is a spiritual experience, but a controlled one that has structure. So for me, that represents my spiritual growth, my spiritual education. I'm taking classes right now. I have, assignments, I have projects and things, experiments that I'm doing. So this represents my spiritual growth in terms of my journey in learning. And when I thought about that, I said, this makes sense. This really makes sense because without getting too deep into some of the details, basically what that dream showed was my journey. Starting off from a place of being in a very sleep state, waiting for something to be awakened within me. And that was me maybe a year ago, even further, several years ago. Being in a state where, okay, you found something, you're interested in this indigenous knowledge thing, and you found something. And it was cool. It was, like I said, I don't knock any of my past experiences. They help build my foundation, but there was always something missing. I felt like there was something in me, like I was asleep almost. So that represent me being in a sleep state, but waiting for something to be awakened, not just sleep and content with it, but in a sleep state, waiting for something to be awakened in me. And it also talked about an ending of a cycle. The ending of a cycle being that cycle of, just to be frank, just not learning as much as I would have liked to a state now of rapid growth and development. Sleep state, waiting to be awakened, rapid growth and development, which describes my position now in my spiritual education. I'm now experiencing rapid growth and development as a student of IIKDS, and a very heightened state of mental activity. I'm learning so much stuff. There's so much. There's always something to learn, something to memorize, something to experience. So the mind is busy. The mind is very busy. So it talked about that. And if you look at that polarity there, the north and the south, you talk about the polarity. Those are two complete opposite ends. A state of once not basically learning anything to now learning a whole lot of stuff really fast. Rapid growth and development, not something that that's unmanageable, but in a good way. And also it talks about there's some emotion involved there too. There's also now in this experience there's this emotion, there's a lot of feelings involved there too, because when you look at the dream and me going underwater, and there was a feeling of probably, I don't know, could have been some fear that the people saw when I was coming up out of the water, looking in the upper right. The expression that I had on my face could have been one of a person who was like maybe not too sure, but one who was persistent. And the dream also says that the way that I view myself in regards to my spiritual journey, and probably the way others view me, is one of a person who is persistent. I definitely say that about myself when it comes down to my spiritual growth. I'm persistent. I have tenacity. So I didn't just, get into this and say, hey, I'm going to learn about indigenous knowledge, and it didn't work out with this group, or it didn't work out with this system, or this, whatever, and then just stop. No, I kept moving forward until I got to the state that I am now, and I'm still learning. So that's pretty much what the dream, um, was. It was spirit saying, hey, you were once in a state where you were like, where things were dead and you were waiting to be awakened, but now you're in a state where you're experiencing rapid growth and development in your spiritual journey, and um, you see yourself as being very persistent, very tenacious, and that's probably how others see you as well. And so that's the dream. That's the first D, the divination um, that I did gives additional analysis on what was being communicated to me. And the third D, the doing, like I said, the doing is not always uh, something that one has to do with spiritual tools and talents. And sometimes the doing could be a behavioral change. Sometimes the doing could be, you know, other things. The doing is just simply to keep the same process that I'm going through now, which is keep studying, keep learning, keep growing, keep experiencing, because has got me on a very great path. So I hope this has been of interest to you and helpful. And if I can help you, I'm more than happy to help you. If you've had some dreams or a particular dream and you're like, this makes no sense to me, I believe Spirit is trying to tell me something, but I have no idea, then I would be more than happy to help you. Feel free to contact me at jbdivines, that's jbdivines @gmail.com, of no charge. I'll be happy to help you, no charge, in helping you analyze your dreams. Just email me, send me as many details about your dream as you can. I mean, no detail is too small. Whether, the time of day, if you can remember, anything you can remember, colors that you may have had on, where were you standing, which way did you walk, what did the other person look like, if you can even remember the night that you had the dream. The more details, the better. And also, your full birth name. That would be very helpful to me. Again, feel free to message me at jbdivines@gmail.com. I will be more than happy to help you. Until then, continue to live life in 3D, dream, divine, and do. Talk to you later.